Hey guys, Matt James coming at you from Northeast Florida for one more piece on the issue of mindset, or the topic of mindset, if you will. For some of us it may be an issue, but on the topic of mindset, we've been talking about this for the last few weeks, and this is going to be part 4 in that series. And I got a little long-winded last week, so I'm going to try to move a little more quickly today and not take up too much of your time, but this is an important subject, so I want to take a little bit of time with it, which is why I've been doing this little bit series for you guys. So on the first day, the first blog I should say, when I introduced this, I talked about we need to be persistently consistent in things and all that we do. I talked about the fact that we are the sum, in general, we are the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And ironically, I've seen a lot on that subject in the last week from people that I follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Very, very interesting that I've seen that being mentioned a lot in the past week, and several blogs from some other folks that I listen to, that I follow, and I just find that to be curious. But you know what? If you think about it, it's really true. So something to think about. Left you guys with that from the intro. Gave in part 2, I gave the story of my son's football team. We talked about how mindset is what separates the best from the rest. Mindset separates the best from the rest. So we want to have that strong, solid mindset so that we can rise to the top of whatever it is that we're doing. And then last week I talked about the fact that we move towards what we look at. I gave you some examples from my own experiences through surfing and cycling that, you know, when you're doing certain moves, you're going to go where you look. So we move to where we look. And we also talked about the fact that we have peaks and we have valleys, and that's just going to happen. Sometimes that happens daily. For some of you it may happen hourly, but at the very least it's going to happen from time to time. We're going to be standing at the top sometimes we're going to be in the valley, and sometimes we may be somewhere in between. So guys, today, by the way, I talked to you guys about my knee. My mindset is being challenged right now. I'm having surgery this week in just a few days. It looks like they're going to be able to go in there and just do a little bit of a cleanup, get rid of some of that cartilage that tore away. And so I'm hoping that I'll be back into action totally and completely fairly quickly. But at the same time, I have to wrap my mind around the fact that I could be on a non-weight bearer, or could have a non-weight bearing leg for as much as 6 weeks. And guys, I'm a classroom teacher. I teach music in our public school system, and while that would be a challenge to teach potentially from a sitting position, I'm a very active teacher in my classroom. Just the simple how do I get to and from work could be a real challenge, a huge challenge. So my mindset right now is really being tested. But you know, when I stop and think about it, some of my friends have been going through some other things right now. And you know, I've heard many self-help people talk about the fact that the same wind blows on all of us. The same wind blows on all of us. If I go down to the corner right now on the Intracoastal Waterway and stand there, and if I had one of my sons on one side and one of them on the other side, and a couple of their friends with me, the same wind is blowing on all of us. It's how we look at it and what we do with it that counts. That's what really matters. Jim Rohn, I think, is maybe the first, is very famous for saying that it's not the wind, it's the set of the sail that makes all the difference. You know, we could be out sailing. Same wind is blowing on us, but it's the set of the sail. How do you set the sail? How do you trim the sail? And guys, I'm not a sailor, so I'm not sure if I'm using correct terminology on that. But it's the set of that sail. It's going to make one boat fly through the water, and another boat may be standing still. And it all has to do with the perspective of the captain, if you will, and how he or she perceives the wind and what they're able to do with that wind. Okay, for the rest of us, those may be circumstances at work. It might be something that we're going through at home in our home life or with our family. It could be trying to reach those goals in the gym. You know, maybe we've hit a sticking point, and maybe just in our brain, we just feel like, you know, that's all I can do. I cannot do anymore right now. I can tell you guys with back squats, one day I back squatted. I don't even remember what the weight was, but man, I got down and I got it back up and I was done. That was it. That was all I was doing today. And gym owner comes over and it's like, man, that was really good. You look pretty good. I'm like, yeah, man, I barely got that back up. And he's like, oh no, that looked easy. He says, let's put 10 more pounds on there. Let me know when you're ready. And I'm like, Bobby, no way. There's no way. I barely got that up. No, put the 10 pounds on there. Let me know when you're ready. So I very reluctantly put the 10 pounds on and waited a minute or two and called him over. He's like, all right, I'm back here. I'm going to spot you. And I dropped down and I start coming up and I got up to that halfway point and that's where I got stuck. But with Bobby and that encouragement behind me, I blasted through the top of the lift, stood up and put the bar back in the rack, and it was like, wow. And he's like, yeah, big high five. And I thought I was done. And in my perception and everything that I felt on that previous lift, I was done. There was no way I was going to get any more weight up. Popped 10 more pounds on there and actually, ultimately got it up. I won't say it was easy, but got it up fairly well. So guys, it's all in how we perceive things. And sometimes we need help. Sometimes we need other people to help us out in perceiving the circumstances or the things that are happening to us, what's going on in our lives. I know, my wife has very close friends and they share all kinds of things together. And I'm not a guy that has a bazillion close friends or anything like that, but I have people that I talk to, and when things are not going well, or if I'm perceiving that I've been slighted by this person or by this situation, I'll run that by them and I'll talk to them. And that's where it comes back to those 5 people that we've talked about. You're the sum of the 5 people, or the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And I think that that's where they can be so important. And remember, we talked about that those 5 people should not necessarily be people who are just going to agree with everything that we say or everything that we do. We need people that are going to hold us accountable to whatever it is that we're doing. If I say I'm going to lose 10 pounds, so I'm going to get my back squat up to 325, and I'm going to kind of lay the plan out here, I need somebody that's going to hold me accountable, somebody that's going to put my feet to the fire and say, that was a great squat, but you got 10 more pounds, put 10 more pounds on there today. Let's not wait until the end of the week or next week. Let's do that now. And then next week, you'll be able to lift even more. We don't need people who are just going to agree with us and be the yes man or the yes woman and go along with us. Certainly we need to have people who are going to be our friends, our confidants, but they need to challenge us and they need to hold us to the fire and to the test, to whatever it is that we're trying to meet. So I want you guys to think about that this week. Keep in mind that it's not the wind. The same wind, in so many cases, the same circumstances are coming to all of us, but it's what we do with it that counts. It's the set of the sail that counts. It's our perception of what's going on and what's happening, and then it's up to us, it's our responsibility to come up with a plan to make it to wherever it is we're wanting to go, to make it to that goal, to get that job, to lift that weight, to lose that weight. It's up to us to do that. So guys, I want to leave you with that this week. And as always, I'm going to ask you guys to be relentless in all that you do. I hope you have a great week. For us here in Florida, in St. Augustine, Florida, we're coming into our first full week of school. Students started Friday, and we're going to have our first full week coming up. I'm going to have that surgery, and I hope to be back on for my next post telling you guys that it was exactly what they thought, just to clean out. I'm going to be back in action real quick and full steam ahead, and but we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to keep my mindset positive, and I'm going to send out positive vibes, not only to you guys, but to some friends of mine. They know who they are that are going through some things. And I'm going to keep my mind positive about this knee, and that all's going to go well. So guys, I want to wish you a great week. Go for it, be relentless, and we'll see you next time. All right, goodbye.